Thank you, teachers, and thanks for joining us. I hope today you will learn something different. Or you can also discuss few things related to Desmos graphing tools and also related to Desmos activities if you have any concern. So first of all, let's go to the basic structure. If you type on Google Desmos.com, you will land on this page. This is the main home page of Desmos. And if you have already used, then lots of things are there from math tools, which you can explore. And classroom also, you can use this tool if you have some activities or you want to use some Desmos activities in your lessons. Resources are for you to help. So if you need any help, you can just click on Help Center. You will find appropriate video tutorials or other things. And I have also created many videos on graphing tools and then activities separately. So you can explore those as well. So to begin with, I'm going to click on graphing calculator. Then later on, we'll may jump on browse activities. So graphing calculator is here. And if you are logged in already, you can see your name there. As you can see, my name is here. And you can change any account settings if you want. You can share your graph only from here. This is for the help center. This is for the language. So if you want to convert your stuff in any particular language, then you can click on these French language, Spanish, Turkish, or Indonesian Bhasa and Espanol, Italiano. So there are many languages they have added. So make use of it if your students are not comfortable in English. So by default, it is in English, and plus minus are for zoom. Settings you can create for reverse contrast. If you want to see everything in a reverse colors, you can say. You can hide the grid if you don't want to see the grid. You want to see x-axis, y-axis. So yeah, you can actually make use of this. I'll recommend if you guys are watching this, and you may watch on mobile phone, and side by side you can work on your laptops. And I'll keep on sharing the stuff which I'm going to create here so that you can use them, make copy of that. If I share anything, you can just save it. Make sure you have signed in your account. You can save it anytime. You can see here. There are lots of examples given by Desmos itself. So you can explore those as well. So before we start, I hope you are already aware about basic structure. You can type on this left-hand side portion. Plus button will help you to add certain items, expressions, notes, table, folder, image, and ticker. This is for the clickable things. Images, yes, definitely you can add. Let me start with the folder so that you can organize better. So I'm going to click on a folder and I can give my folder name, let's say first folder, and I have to click enter. What will happen? You will see this bar. If this bar is there, which means everything will be in your folder. So let me just create some sliders, which I'm going to use. So A equals to, let's say 2. This is my first slider, and I can restrict its values from -5 to, but I can also control these steps. Let's say 0.1 or 0.01. It's up to you. You can also manage the animation properties from here. One way, speed, or like this. So that depends on you how you want to make use of that. So let's say B is equals to 3. Initially, you can enter any value because slider is going to change those values. And if you don't enter minimum and maximum, by default, it will consider -10 to 10. So these are some sliders which I have added. And now I want to make use of these two sliders. So let me show you how you can create that. Before I use sliders, I also would like to create a list. Because list is something, let me just add some text here. So there are three types of brackets you can use here. Three types. First is, you know very well, this open interval type bracket, which we use for coordinates. But you can also use curly brackets or curly braces, left and right, so that you can actually create or control. This is for controlling. Let me write this. This is very obvious for coordinates. And this one is for controlling or conditions. I'm going to write conditions. And the last is the square brackets, which we are going to use to create lists. Create lists. I'm going to show you how you can create. So first, I have added one folder so that I can organize my work. Whichever things I want to change, I can just go to that folder and I can hide it like this. Look at this. So your work is organized and you can hide it if you want. And if you click here, everything is there. So I'm going to make use of first sliders just for simple function. Let's say our trigonometric function y equals to a sine of bx. Let's say. Look at this. Now I have two sliders. One is A and one is B. Especially for trigonometric graphs, by default, it will consider radians. But let me show you the degrees as well. Click on the setting system here on the right hand side. Click on degrees. But when you click on degrees, make sure you change your angles. Let's say minus 500 to 500. And you can consider as steps, let's say pi over 4. So to generate pi, you can type simply pi in lower cases. It will create pi automatically, pi over 4. Same you can apply with y. You don't need for y, that's fine. Just click here. Now you can see B is my slider, which is going to multiply by the angle x. A is going to change my amplitude. So if you run these sliders, you can see the amplitude is changing. And you can drag it manually as well. Number two, if you change slider B, you can demonstrate easily what is happening with the graph. So for transformations, you can make use of this as well. Let me just type f of x, right? And if you want to translate, okay, sorry, let me just remove a and b from here because that is my standard function, f of x. And you can actually change, I think, let me just check my conditions. It's pi over 4. Okay, let's say 360 degree only. Minus 360. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to click on this. Minor grid lines you want to see, that's fine. Otherwise, you can also hide those. It's up to you. And y values, let's say you want to consider from minus 3 to 3. You can control from here. Step. Perfectly fine. You can just give 0.5. So this way you can control and oh my God, because the angles are in degrees and we are giving in pi. So that is the mistake. Yeah. So I'm just giving 90 degree now. So now these angles are in degrees. One more thing. Let's say here degrees, because if you want to give the degree like that, that will also work. I hope. No, it's not working. I was showing here, but it okay. In the labels, you can do that degrees. So in the labels, you can see. If you have a difficulty in back color, that don't worry. You can just make it reverse contrast. It will come back to the white original settings. Sorry, I forgot to do that. Now I keep on doing in this way. Anyways, I was talking about the f of x, and then let's generate another function which is dx equals, and we are going to transform fx. A, let's say I'm going to multiply with x minus b. Now you can see this. And B is the angle. Let's control it from negative 180 to positive 180. You can control steps. Yeah. Let me play a slider B so you can easily demonstrate what is happening to your function when B is changing. You can manually drag it as well. A is 1, let's say. Yeah, it would be better if you show like this. And let me just control this function, because as I have written here, conditions for the curly. After I enter my function, I'm going to enter curly brackets. Sorry. From your keypad, you can do that. And as soon as you enter that, you will see what is happening with the curly braces. So you can control it from negative 360 and less than equals to x less than equals to 360. Look, so you can control your function. Let me just show you this way. If you even go left hand side, you won't see your function going beyond, because that you can control it from here. 500 and here also 500, so that you can see actually where is 360. Yeah, now you can see the function is controlled and you can actually play the sliders now. So this is one way how you can make your graph dynamics. And this is like something which you all of you should try if you haven't used these things, especially for the curly. And now I'm going back to this one. So how to make use of that? Let me just put on hold the slider. And now I'm going to use this, the square brackets. How to make use of it, these square brackets? What you have to do, make sure you have defined a list. Let's say you want to start a function or a values of one variable. I'm going to create, let's say L is my list equals to this. It will show you number of elements present in that list. Right now it's 0. So I'm going to start, let's say, from negative 360. And I'm going to jump by negative, 10 degrees. So I can enter negative 350. It's like a sequence. You're creating a sequence, enter two values, enough, comma, 3 dots, 1, 2, 3, and the last value. So last value can be anything. You want to control it from 360, definitely you can do that. But I'll actually enter one new variable here, which is my k. And it was not defined earlier. That's why it's asking, would you like to add a slider? I would say yes. And then I'm gonna change my values from negative 350 to maximum 360. Steps you can actually classify as 10 so that it will jump backward in that way. Now, how to make use of this list? So it's very easy. And what you have to do, there are lots of things how you can make use of it. Let's say if I type x equals to L, it will generate my number of lines based on my list. So now list has 4 elements, but my list may have more elements if I increase my k. Look at this. So this is something which is really useful when you want to make list, but in a smart way. So use a list, but with a slider as the ending value, right? You can also control the initial values. There is no problem that you can't use. So this is which I found really helpful when I add any alphabet or any slider at the end of my list. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to make use of this graph. I'm going to hide my GX and okay, I'll hide this. Let me show you the points as well if you want to see. L comma 0. Look at this. So it will generate my points with the interval of 10 and 10. But how I want to use it, not just because of points, I would rather use it like that. Sine of L. Look at this now. Now, what this list is doing, sign of L means whatever values of L in the list, and my sign of L is going to define the values of that. So if I hide my f of x, and now if I play my slider, your graph would be like that. It's a dynamic, and you can actually control it if you want. One more thing, you can go to animation properties and just click on one directional way. You can control the speed as well. It's up to you, and now you can make use of it. These things are very helpful when you use in activities. Let's say this would be your entry level animation. Like you want to introduce any type of graphs. Let me show you the parabolic graph as well, L comma L square. Oh, because those values will be very high. That's why it's not appearing. But if you want, you can make use of that. Right now, we can see only one value. So if I have another function, let's say e to the power x, 5. You can also use like that. You don't need to enter sign of L. You could enter f of L as well. Same work. Because we have already defined my f of x's sign, right? And you could also use g. Let me write now g as well. L comma g of L. Because g is the transformation of that graph, which I can control. Look at this. So this was something which is really helpful, maybe for teachers, and also to visualize, or you want to show this to your students. So one example I have taken, but you can make use of this list with the slider in any case. So this was something really helpful, which I found, which is really helpful for me when I generated or when I created activities using this type of feature. Because in activities also, we can create. Okay, so I discussed about the folder, how you can add different things in the folder, and how you can control everything in the folder. Let's say if I click this, everything will become invisible in one go, because this function is out of my folder. So I'm not able to control that folder. So, but if I click here, everything will be visible altogether. Number of functions you can add. Make sure how to identify the folder is available. Look at this bar. Everything inside that, if you want to move it something, just press enter, and then you can move it inside as well. Look at this. You can just see in one go, and you can actually, let me save this and share with you those who were not aware about this feature. And I will share this in the chat. You can make copy of that and then use it. Okay, I've shared this, and if you have any question for this, you can please discuss with me now. Then we can go for the next thing. Because next thing is the new feature of Desmos, which is the touch, clickable thing.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, please go ahead.
You've shared the things that you've done till so far, isn't it?
Correct, yeah.
So that is accessible to us now.
Yeah,
And
you can access it.
will it be always accessible?
Yeah, always accessible. But make sure you have account.
Oh,
You
okay.
can
So that
save it
means whatever we are sharing it to the students, they can access all at every time.
every time, every time. Make sure you have
Okay.
saved in your account and you can have it.
Okay, okay, okay.
Correct. Thank you. Okay, let me go for some new features of Desmos. Click the green save button. Thank you. Yeah, this is the save button. If you want to make any change, this thing will appear there. Okay, I'm just going to hide it because I'm not using that. See, any single change you make, you have to just click on save. So this one was about degrees, but you can make it in radians and then make use of it. So let me open another Desmos graph for you to introduce the new feature from Desmos, which was launched last month, I guess. And it's not being used by many people yet, but we can make use of it. At least we can start making use of that new feature. So the new feature is like you can click on anything. Let me show you what. Let's say I have a value a equals to 3. It's my slider. Slider means this can be any alphabet and you can define in any way. Now, let me create a point here. Let's say at 4, 2, and I can make it label, and in the label I will say increase a. I'm just writing this like that, increase a. Okay, let's write in full. And you can even hide the point. What will happen? The text which is there, it will become clickable if I just add one feature here. Make sure in some of the cases, what would happen? Let me show you in a fresh case of Desmos, because in some cases I can see that was not available. Whenever you actually uh, click on any settings, then you have to see that your, let me show you in my one so that you can understand better. So this is your account. Click here, account settings. You will see this advanced feature. So please click on this advanced feature and make sure the action button is active. If it is not active for you, you can write to the support@desmos.com. So this was something which was important because I came to know that I forgot to mention this in few sessions. Then teachers were coming back that this feature is not available in their account. So please go to advanced and make sure this is clicked. Now you can make use of it. How? Go to settings, this edit list, but it's a setting here technically, and click on this point. The last one would become clickable. So just make sure you are dragging it. And now on click, what should happen? Let's say we are going to define the values of a so that it will increase by one amount, by 1 or 2 or 10 something. So I'm just gonna do that. A arrow, sorry, the minus sign. Okay, let me show you from the keypad. The keypad is available here whenever you type this keypad. So this keypad will help you out. So I'm going to go back here in the clickable part. So I have entered already a, then you just enter minus and then the greater than sign, this one. So it will create an arrow which you can define any action. So let's say a, whatever current value of a should increase by 1. So I'm going to use a approaches to a plus 1. You can also control it. You know, we did some curly bracket things for conditions, right? Let me put the condition a less than 10. It will not increase my a if my a is already greater than 10. So it's done and I can use it. Let me show you the values of a first also so that you can see. I'm going to use x equal to a as a line so that you can see the difference what is happening, because I'm not going to change, sorry, a. So I'm not going to change anything from this graph, but I'm going to click here and you would see that what is happening to this value, right? Let's also define this 3, 0, sorry, a, 0, and look at this. Okay, we are running out of time. You please join back in 10 minutes if we got disconnected. So look at this point 3, 0, and this button is clickable now. Let me show you how. This 4, 2, it can be a button like this. Let's create a button. If you want to increase the size, just increase the size from here. Look at this. Now it is clickable, and the text is not clickable right now. The text is just a label, because if you turn off the point, then text become clickable. So we are doing in a both ways. I'll show you. So I'm going to click on this orange button, we could say, and you will see the change in A. Look at this. It's changing by 1 every time. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. If I click more, it becomes deactivated. Look at this. Now it's not changing because we are using a condition that A should be less than 10. So A is actually equals to 10. That's why it stopped working. Now let's create one more button which is gonna reset my values. So let's create a button which is below -2. And here I'm gonna type reset. So just giving you one simple example how you can make use of a clickable thing. Look, if I hide this, then my text is clickable. If I don't hide the point, then my point is clickable. You can differentiate among those points. Let me make this also bigger, and we can see, sorry, this one. Look at this. The size is now bigger enough. Done. And let's define it as A approaches 2. Sorry, I just need to put this aside. Clickable. Now, what is the action we want to make it? A minus greater than 0. Right? Let's make it 1. Okay. So it will reset my A value to 1. Whatever you can define it, that's fine. So look at this. Now reset button is active. If I click on it, it should bring my A to 1. Yes, yes, let me show you that as well. Definitely we can make. So, okay, let's do this. Increase A by 1, 1, 1, and then reset. Okay, cool. Let's create one image and also make it clickable. I'm really sorry. In 7 minutes, this meeting may gonna end, so that you can join back on the same link. I'm gonna add one image. Okay, let me just use some arrows if I have. Okay, this is, I have arrow. Arrow. Lots of images actually. So I'm gonna use the arrows. Hold on. Okay, let me just click on the football. Let's make it clickable. Okay, so okay, and I can introduce one more thing. You can control the size of football or any image from here. Center 0, 0, and width you can control. Let's say 1 or 2 and 2. Look at this. Now the football is of perfect size. This is angle. If you want to rotate it, opacity also you can change if you don't want to highlight it. Look at this. Now it's in the lighter shade. One will give you that. Center you can also define. Let's change center to A0. Okay, so if I increase A, my center of the football will change. Let me hide the point. Look at this. So you can make anything clickable. Now, this is not, sorry, the image clickable yet, but definitely we can make. So go to the setting here again, click on this image and make it clickable. So use the same command as you want. Let's say this time, let's rotate it. As soon as I click on that image, yeah, I'll share this recording on YouTube and I'll share the link. I don't know from where you got this. Let me share my YouTube link with you so that if you miss anything, channel. Just sharing this in the chat. with everybody because I will publish on YouTube so that because I don't know in which group you are. Okay, so let's make it clickable, and I want to make it clickable like it should rotate. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to define one angle, and as soon as I click on it, it should rotate by this angle. So I'm going to use this angle as let's take any alphabet T. Okay, I'm going to add a T slider. Now go to this image, clickable, on click, T should, sorry, minus and then greater than sign, it will create an arrow. So we can actually use any angle. You can rotate it, let's say by 2 pi, right? Okay, done. And here is angle 2 pi. Let me show you without even clicking. So if T is, look at this, it will rotate, right? Now this feature we have made on clickable. When I click on my football, it should rotate. So let me reset it. And now you increase A means the center is changing and I want to rotate it. I'm going to click on the football. Okay, because it's not animating. That's why you are not able to see. What I'm going to do, I'm actually changing this to another variable, K, right? And I'm going to create a K slider from, let's say 1. And I will run it so that every time I click, P can be there. Now let's click it here. Look at this. Every time you click, it's going to rotate by that angle, whatever K value is there. Let's do one more thing here. T plus. Whichever angle was already there, it will just increase by that amount. I'm using T plus K pi. Okay. Look at this. So it's rotating. Let me show you in the reverse contrast. I hope that may help you. Otherwise, you can just play T slider. It will rotate it. You can use a wheel to rotate, or you can drag it, whatever you want to do. So the command can be given on images as well. So if you don't want to change this, maybe we can actually change the center. Let me define a new variable P, and we will change the center of that point. I will use add slider, go to the image, make it clickable, and B should change to any other point, let's say B plus 1 or B point 0.5. Okay, look at this. Now T is not anymore changing with that because now we have added B approaches to B plus 0.5. B comma B is the center. Increase A will not affect my football, right? Reset will not do anything for football. But if I click on the football, then it will change my center. Look at this. On every click, my center of football is changing. So this way you can make use of clickable things. Sorry, it's going to end in a minute. Please join back. I will just stop recording.